and the menace of illegal mining, generally called Galamsey. We sum up our message as protecting our common home, a call to end environmental degradation through illegal mining. Introduction. We, the archbishops and bishops of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, have over the years, indeed since 2009, been consistently vocal about the environmental degradation caused by illegal mining, particularly the phenomenon of Galamsey, which has unleashed devastating consequences on our country's ecosystems, water bodies, and communities. The conference is deeply concerned about the persistent and alarming levels of environmental degradation caused by such activities. And all Ghanaians, most of us, are witnesses to this. For us, in his encyclical Laudato Si, Pope Francis calls on all people to care for our common home, the earth. As stewards of creation, we have a moral responsibility to guard the environment for current and future generations. However, the indiscriminate activities of illegal miners continue to undermine this responsibility. Previous communiques. We recall our previous communiques. You can look at 2009, 2010, 2015, 2016 to 2023 that have dealt thematic areas such as the scourge of Galamsey, a threat to our nation's future. Galamsey, a call to conscience and action. Protecting our environment, protecting our future. And we must end Galamsey to save our country. These are topics we have dealt with in detail and which we have distributed all over Ghana. Please, you may want to find a link to all these statements made by the Conference on Galamsey since 2009 on the net, and the address is here. These statements demonstrate our long-standing commitment as a conference to addressing this menace. Unfortunately, the situation has not improved. If anything at all, it has worsened. And we must continue to sound the alarm. On our previous pastoral and social visits, various pastoral and social visits to our people in their localities, as well as our many travels across the country, we see, and we do not only see, we also denounce. And we do not only denounce, we decry the wicked and greedy destruction of our forest resources. These are some areas of concern that must call all of us to action today. 1, destruction of our water bodies. Illegal mining has polluted several of our rivers, such as the Pra, the Ankobra, Densu, Tano, Ofe, and Brim, rendering them undrinkable and unfit for agricultural and domestic use. And my attention has been drawn to these beautiful bottles. I don't know whether they are beautiful or they are ugly. But look at this. And this is all that some of us depend on for food and drink. We have noted, sadly, through the recent press statement from the Ghana Water Company Limited that the average turbidity of 14,000 NTU instead of recommended 2,000 NTU in the Pra River. This has negatively impacted the livelihoods of farmers and rural communities who depend on these water bodies. Loss of agricultural lands and crops. In addition, vast stretches of arable land, cocoa farms, and other crops have been destroyed by illegal mining activities, reducing the nation's ability to produce food and threatening farmers who depend on their land for survival. Health risks. The use of harmful chemicals such as mercury in illegal mining poses significant health risks, particularly for miners themselves and surrounding communities. These chemicals contaminate water sources and food supplies, leading to long-term health complications, including respiratory and neurological disorders, increase in renal and kidney diseases. And you go to our hospitals and you see how many people are on dialysis suddenly and within this short period of time. How can we, for instance, justify the rise in stillbirths, physical and biological deformities in newborn babies caused by such unscrupulous and selfish enterprise? Weak enforcement of laws. Despite the existence of environmental protection laws, their enforcement has been weak and inconsistent. Corruption. Complicity of political leaders. Some chiefs and the lack of political will have further exacerbated the problem, allowing illegal mining to thrive unchecked. We wish to state that Ghanaians can no longer tolerate the lip service of government of whatever color in the fight against Galamsey. And we call for action not tomorrow, but now, and right from this press conference. And all hands must get on board. There should be no respect for persons or of anybody or any authority when it comes to our life, which is the most precious gift that we have and which is at threat now. So we call for action. We acknowledge the activism so far by the media coalition against Galamsey. Congratulations. By some of our chiefs who barred and have outlawed Galamsey activities in their traditional areas. And we call on all other stakeholders, including the government, the legislature, the judiciary, the media, civil society chiefs, and religious leaders to unite in the fight against illegal mining and environmental degradation. We further urge the political parties not to do politics with our lives. We need action from both of them. And that is why we call for immediate and decisive action by the government. We urge government who has the power and who can do it and change things if he decides to do it. He has the backing of the law and everything to stop it. And if they do not stop it, it is because they don't want to, and they care less about our lives. We urge them to stop their lip service in fighting Galamsey by employing all available means to halt illegal mining activities now. Otherwise, we will hold them responsible when we can and put in place what we, the populace, can do to protect our lives. This includes enforcing existing laws, holding perpetrators accountable, and ensuring that those involved in illegal mining face the full rigors of the law without fear or favor. We call on the media. You have gathered here, and we are so honored to have you here. You have a lot of sway. We call on you. We call on civil society organizations. If we can do anything, it is for us to protect the lives of our people. We call on you. And we call on our religious bodies, the Christian Council of Ghana. We call on our Muslim brothers and sisters for all of us to amplify education and awareness campaigns on the devastating effects of illegal mining in our communities. Communities must be empowered, or they should empower themselves to understand the long-term consequences of Galamsey. And it is not very difficult for them to find. But they see the water, they see the agricultural lands, they see the disappearance of our forests. What else do we have as a community for us to see that we are dying a slow and even a faster death? Then we urge the government to prioritize the reclamation of destroyed lands and restoration of polluted water bodies. This process must involve the local communities led by our chiefs and be transparent to ensure the recovery of the environment. We recommend strongly a temporary moratorium on licensed community mining activities now. For whether legal Galamsey or illegal Galamsey, the effects are the same. And both, at least, must be halted for us to find proper ways before we can start. And this moratorium, if the government or those in authority really love Ghanaians, we are at a critical stage. And if they really love us, then it must be today and not tomorrow, if they really have us at heart. Now, while mining remains an important part of Ghana's economy, we don't deny that. We can't do without mining. It must be carried out responsibly and sustainably. We call on mining companies, both large scale and small scale, to adhere strictly to environmental regulations and to adopt practices that protect the environment. Many of those engaged in illegal mining do so out of economic desperation. We urge the government to invest in alternative livelihood programs that provide sustainable employment opportunities for these individuals, particularly in agriculture and other sectors. Political campaign against Galamsey. We strongly urge all presidential and parliamentary candidates, if they really love Ghana and the people that they are fighting to come and lead, if they have them at heart, to make public commitments against Galamsey in their ongoing political campaigns and call on their followers to follow suit. Say no to Galamsey. Conclusion. As a church, as religious bodies, we remain committed to promoting social justice, a fair one, and the protection of the environment. We cannot stand by while our environment, which is a gift from God to be used by all of us, is destroyed by greed, indifference. The time for action my brothers, is now. Otherwise, there will be nobody left to act. And if those who lead us will not act, we should not say because they will not protect us, we will not protect ourselves. We urge all politicians to desist from politicizing this grave national crisis. It is a crisis, and probably more than a crisis. We are gradually going beyond the threshold where, at least if we act now, we'll be able to recover certain things. But if we delay, we are afraid it may be too late for all of us. So let us rise up to protect our common home. May God bless our homeland, Ghana, cause us to resist the sins and crimes and greed and corruption against our environment. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Please, let's give another round of applause for Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi, the president of the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference. I'm sure you are taking serious notes. He spoke very much about Galamsey, how we got here, the health risk, and then he actually made one very important request and demand, a ban on community mining. And then he also did talk about desisting, political aspirants desisting from making the campaign all about Galamsey. So I think we've heard a lot, and I want to ask if the Christian Council, the General Secretary for the Christian Council, Dr. Fayose, would add also to the statement from the religious bodies. So, Doc, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother. I believe that the Most Reverend President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference has said most of it, so I'll just say a few words and sit. All protocol observed. Dearly beloved citizens of our dear nation, Ghana, we bring you warm greetings from the Christian Council of Ghana in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. The Christian Council of Ghana, together with our ecumenical partners, especially the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference and the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, have over the years spoken and written vehemently against the dangers of illegal mining Galamsey in our country. We have commended the government's position against this menace in previous press statements and have called on all our churches and pastors to support the fight against Galamsey. Recent developments in our nation and reports in both electronic and print media suggest that there has been lack of political will in the fight against this evil. On our various pastoral and social visits to some localities, we affirm the destruction of forests and the cutting down of cash crops for the purpose of Galamsey. Our sources of livelihood, water bodies, farmlands, and livestock are being sacrificed for selfish interest. The Galamsey menace has polluted our land, soil, and water bodies with chemicals like mercury, chlorine, cyanide, and arsenic, which are harmful to humans. While we ask God to change the hearts of these perpetrators, we wish to state that such sinful acts against humanity should not be tolerated. We urge government, concerned agencies and institutions, and all Ghanaians to be bold and courageous to sustain the campaign against illegal mining. We demand that any individual, security service personnel, politician, or chief found to be working towards the fight against illegal mining should be made to face the full rigors of the law. We wish to emphasize that Galamsey has serious future health and economic repercussions for our country. It is therefore imperative for government to show strong commitment and roll out practical steps to end Galamsey and start recovery of lands and water bodies that have been polluted by this evil practice. We urge all Ghanaians, we call on His Excellency the President to master all the power that he has to put a stop to Galamsey. We call on the Council of State to impress upon the President to put a stop to Galamsey. We call on Parliament, the Speaker and members of Parliament, to do their bit to stop Galamsey. We call on the judiciary. We call on the media, the Fourth Estate. And we want to thank the Media Coalition for what they have done so far. They deserve every commendation from us. We call on traditional authorities to follow the example of the Otumfuo. We call on religious leaders, religious bodies, and also all religious persons. And in Ghana, when we talk about religious persons, we form about maybe 98% of the population, to put a stop to this menace in our country. We call upon all and sundry to put a stop. We urge all Ghanaians to support the fight against Galamsey for the common good of our nation. May God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make our nation great and strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doc Fayose, Christian Council General Secretary. I think the message has been so far very clear. And the state, the executive, the legislature, the judiciary have all been called upon to take stand and act against Galamsey. I've just been informed that we are going to be joined by the trade union and also the office of the chief imam. And so we are going to be taking solidarity messages from CASA Initiative Ghana. So please permit me to welcome Jonathan Goka, the coordinator for CASA Initiative Ghana. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. And I also stand by the existing protocols. The previous speakers have done justice to the devastation nature of Galamsey and how it's affecting every sector of our economy. We don't need to belabor the point, but I want us to link the effect of Galamsey to the aggravating nature of climate change, as we all know. Climate change is already, doing a lot of harm to our environment and our human sustainability in Ghana. And the effect of Galamsey seems to be speeding up or increasing the rate, as we already know. So as civil society organizations who are interested in sustainable natural resource governance, we are calling on duty bearers, the presidency and parliament, our traditional authorities, as has already been mentioned, to take sincere and transparent effort at halting Galamsey. We can't prioritize the greed of a few people over the good of the general population. Galamsey and its effect cuts across every sector of this economy, and if we take time to do the linkage, we'll be surprised as what we are not even looking at in terms of the impact on our very survival as human beings. We can't do talking for all this while nothing is happening. Can we ask a president to take decisive action? Because in 2016, he was putting his presidency on the line. For the past weeks that this campaign has been going on, we've not heard anything from the president. We are calling on the president to make a statement on the status of Galamsey now in the country and the actions going forward. Our political parties who are putting up their manifestos, what are they putting in those manifestos to call for a stop to Galamsey? Are we questioning the manifestos from the Galamsey point of view, or we are doing the normal economic assessment of these manifestos? So I will not belabor the point, but to call on the president and all duty bearers who have a role to play in halting Galamsey to take decisive action now. Otherwise, the fortunes of their electoral outcomes will be affected by this campaign. I want to call on the media to sustain this reportage on Galamsey and its linkage to climate change. It's very important. We don't do this as an event, but we should make it a programming within our political discourse leading to the elections. Let's make it very prominent when we are interviewing this political elite on what they will do to halt Galamsey. Let's not end it at this press conference. Let's take it to our various media houses and wherever we interview politicians to continue the campaign. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jonathan, very much for those inspiring statements. And I think that we all have a cause to really act on that. And I think your message to the media, I'm sure, has been taken note of. Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi, the president, wants to ask leave of us. He is actually supposed to be in another very important meeting, but because of the Galamsey issue, he had to be here. So he's begging leave of us. And we'll have the another member bishop from the Accra Diocese, the Catholic Bishop Conference here, to take his stand. Please. And we'll have the another member bishop from the Accra Diocese, the Catholic Bishop Conference here, to take his stand. Please. Let's give them a round of applause. Oh, also, the General Secretary for the Christian Council is also asking leave of us. Thank you. Okay, I think, please, if you have any questions, just hold on, just take notes of them. We'll give you the opportunity to ask all these questions, and I think the team here is well represented to respond to all of them. I want to take the opportunity now to invite Levlin, the coordinator for the CSO platform on SDGs. Please, let's welcome Levlin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and compliments from the three co-chairs of the CSO's platform on SDGs, Mr. Siafa Kamara of Sen Ghana, Madam Joyce Lanyo of International Child Development Program, and Madam Beauty Emefanate of Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. I stand here with all members in this room to condemn the act of Galamsey in this country without apologies. Ghana signed on to the SDGs in 2015, and we have been working hard as a country to work to achieve the SDGs. The UN Secretary General in his last annual speech made mention of the fact that the SDGs are off track. When we link the activity of Galamsey to the SDGs, Galamsey is affecting the quality of food security, SDG 2. Galamsey is affecting good health and well-being, SDG 3. Galamsey is further widening the inequality gap between men and women than gender, because when there is no water, it is most likely the young girl, the young boy, or the woman who goes to fetch water. If there is food shortage, it is the woman who bears the brunt of it the more. SDG 6 is affected because we do not have clean water. We are already grappling with sanitation, and clean water is a problem. Permit me to say, there is a famous Akan proverb that says that Achim nia onum bremu. Bremu is a river. what has happened to Bremo? SDG 7 is affected, clean energy. We go down to SDG 13, climate action. Jonathan of CASA Initiative has already spoken about it. The fishes are suffocating in our rivers. They are living in mud in their own habitat. We cannot be eating fish that is mercury polluted. We are grappling with microfiber from plastics, and we cannot accept mercury. It is causing deformities in babies. Pediatric Association has said SDG 15 is affected because we are destroying our canopies in the forest. We are exposing our land to all sorts of hardships, and we bear the brunt of it. Ladies and gentlemen, let us remember that the earth does not need us. We need the earth. If we make it sick, we become sick and we die off. So today, we are charging again. Mr. President, you can't drink Bremo. And we cannot drink Ankobra. We cannot drink from River Pra and many other rivers. And so please act and act now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Abna-Kunedu, coordinator for CSO platform on SDGs. At least if you didn't know how the mining activities is affecting the SDGs, now you have a very fair idea. And the more reason why we need to prioritize action against irresponsible mining. We are going to come to the statements from the coalition, but I think the PRIMPAC president is here, George Kirsten, executive secretary is here to also give a few remarks before we have the main messages. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I also stand by existing protocols to make this brief remark. I would like to say that PRIMPAC strongly supports the media coalition against Galamsey in this renewed fight against the deadly Galamsey menace in our country. Now, in order for this agenda to succeed, it is crucial that our members resist any form of influences, whether monetary or otherwise, as accepting such inducements will undermine our contribution to the fight against Galamsey and the collective effort to protect our environment. We also call on Parliament to demonstrate leadership in this fight, as exemplified by the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II, and to act without partisanship, considering only the long-term welfare of the nation. We also call on state institutions to act responsibly in mitigating environmental destruction. We urge the strict enforcement of laws that govern environmental sustainability, economic development, and growth. Additionally, technology should be leveraged to address the environmental challenges posed by certain illegal mining activities. As a demonstration of our resolve to help curb the ongoing menace, PRIMPAC members will, in the coming days and weeks, actively engage in a naming and shaming campaign to expose people who are involved in illegal mining activities in the country, regardless of their position or influence in society. This is a necessary step to ensure accountability and to show that no one is above the law. While we fully support the national effort to help curb this menace, which has become a canker hanging around our necks, the national leadership of PRIMPAC is by this statement also issuing a stern warning to any member found to be directly involved in Galamsey, such individuals will be expelled from the association in accordance with our constitution when identified. Additionally, any member who will be identified to have been financially or materially influenced in an attempt to sabotage the association's fight against Galamsey will equally face expulsion from PRIMPAC after being taken through our disciplinary procedures as stated in the constitution of the association. These are the immediate and decisive actions that PRIMPAC, as an association of media owners and practitioners, is taking to contribute to the fight against the Galamsey menace. These have become necessary and urgent because the leadership of PRIMPAC sees the ongoing destruction of our environment as a matter of national urgency, and we must all do our part to protect Ghana for future generations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, George of the Executive Secretary, PRIMPAC. Please, we want to acknowledge the presence of Prof. Amir Hassan, GBC Director General, here in this press conference. We also want to acknowledge key platforms like the GTV, Joy News, Atinka TV, and many other media platforms that are currently streaming this press conference live. Thank you very much for all that you are doing. We have Mrs. Jeanette Sunkwa-Mills, Executive Chairperson of the Executive Women's Network, to also give a brief remarks. Let's please welcome her.
Good morning, everyone. It's such a great privilege to be here, and thank you so much for inviting us. Short notice, but we are committed to be here. So my name is Janet Sunkwa-Mills, and today I'm standing here as the chairperson of the Executive Committee of EWN. Many of you may not know what EWN is, but it stands for Executive Women Network. There are about 200 plus women there, most of them in leadership positions, senior executive positions, board chairs, board members, leaders in their various organizations. And we exist to inspire, empower, and support each other to the best abilities of women in Ghana. So we are an NGO, basically. So I'm standing here with a very simple message, that we as mothers of this nation, we as leaders in our different organizations, we as women in decision-making positions, in senior executive positions of various organizations in Ghana, as well as entrepreneurs, CEO, on behalf of these women, I would like to also support the Media Coalition on fighting against Galamsey in this country. I was delighted to see the lady from the SDG platforms, and you all know, amidst everything that has been said, we don't have to overemphasize the importance of having clean water, clean environment in a sustainable way that protects our country. Somebody mentioned that the earth doesn't need us, and we need the earth. Actually, it's vice versa. But we need the earth more. So we're joining in the fight against Galamsey, in the fight towards sustaining our environment in every way possible. And I want to thank Giba. You're doing a fantastic job. Can we give them a round of applause? I was also delighted to see all the clergy here and all the various organizations that are here to support this fight. We hope that our leaders have heard us, but more importantly, I think we also have a role to play in every small way possible. When we make our homes dirty, it's part of sustainability. When we don't train our children well, it's part of sustainability. In the communities, our husbands are in the gold mines. It's part of our responsibility as mothers and as nurturers, right? So there's a lot of work to do, not only the leaders, but us, ourselves as well. Thank you so much for having time to listen to me this morning. Thank you.
Please, let's give another round of applause. Mrs. Janet Sunkwa Mills from the Executive Women's Network. So we are here to fight against, Galamsey, and we have in here also supporting this presser representatives from the Small Scale Miners Association. And here we have the president, Godwin Ama, the general secretary. Okay, he is the general secretary, Godwin Ama, here to also give us some solidarity messages. Let's welcome him, please.
Okay, thank you, and good morning to everyone. Sometimes when you hear small scale mining, then anytime we get to places, people start saying things that sometimes it doesn't represent us. So I'm very happy that the Media Coalition on Illegal Mining has invited the Ghana National Association of Small Scale Miners. First of all, I bring greetings from all small-scale miners in this country to you, the press. The Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Mining is registered and licensed miners that have been granted license to operate as legitimate Ghanaians in the mining space. There's clear difference in small-scale mining and those who are perpetrating the illegality. Illegal mining is someone who is mining at areas where they have not been given concessions. Small-scale miners are not given concessions in forest reserves. Anyone you see in the forest reserve mining without permit or with permit by prospecting and maybe box sampling, they are all perpetrating illegality. And these are not small-scale miners, because the law do not support small-scale miners to mine in forest reserves. Illegal mining is illegal mining. It can be carried out in both large, small, and in both large, like large-scale companies that have prospecting leases who allocate or apportions some of their concessions for people to work as tributers when they've not been issued the license to do that. In Ghana, I think we have two companies that issue license to do that. We have Extra Good that can do tributor system, and the Ghana Consolidated GCD, that's the Akutia Diamonds. So they operate under tributor section. The Ghana National Association is not happy with the pace at which our water bodies are polluted, because high turbidity affects our operations. For you to recover gold, you need very good, clean water with low turbidities to be able to recover your gold. Most of our members now are resulting in digging boreholes for us to operate. So we are joining the fight, and we will support with all that we have. As you move along the various highways, like the Accra-Kumasi highway, you have illegal miners who are mining closer to the road, and if care is not taken, the road will collapse and will not have access to communities. Ayamfuri to Takwa, when you get to Wasai Kropon area, you could see the clear devastation of these illegal mining operators who are working and washing their tailings anywhere they can find. Tailings need to be contained. Mining is a technical business. But these illegal miners just go in, dig and sluice into our river bodies. The illegal mining menace is a national challenge, but the solution is at the local level. And we need collaborative efforts to fight. The Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners have contributed in various ways in helping curb the menace of illegal mining. Our task force started work way back in 2017 when the ban was placed, And we're able to take over 8,000 chamfens or floating dredges from our river bodies. We did not get much support and the light from the media from this work. During our Miners Awareness Week 2023, we adopted the Brim River to help reduce the turbidity levels. We started somewhere in November, and in 2 weeks, the turbidity levels from 3,000 reduced to 50, from 2,000 reduced to 50. And the Koforidua Ghana Water Company, their regional headquarters, were very happy with it, and we did a lot of collaboration with them. Various pump stations will call the association reps and inform us that the turbidity levels are getting high. Can you help? Quickly, we sent our task force there, and they were able to do. During this process, we were able to do a lot. Pump stations like from Chebi, we went to Bunsu, Osino, and close to the Enyenem Bridge, where we normally cross if you use the commercial highways. Illegal operators who were working there were able to work with them so that at the end of the day, reclaim areas that they mine close to the Brim River, at the bridge side around Enyenem. The leader of our task force was shot by an illegal operator. The bullet pierced through the abdomen, and we have to call them back because of safety concerns. The issue is with the police, and the perpetrators, one, and his accomplice, they said the court discharged him because he was not holding the gun. But these guys traveled over 200 meters to where this task force were working to help safeguard the water that is for the whole community and Ghana as a whole. But we are not going to relent on our efforts. We've done reclamation around the highways, which, because it's an election year, and this illegality associated with every election year, not only this, you see them moving and digging anywhere. So we are happy that the media is sharing more light on it. What I would say to conclude is that without the media, every country will be in darkness. The media should continue to shine the light on all aspects of our society for the best of all. The association will continue to support government and all relevant stakeholders for us to reduce the menace of illegal mining. The economic benefits of indigenous people participating within the mining space can never be overemphasized. The gold that we wear, the jewelry that we use to adorn ourselves is coming from the small-scale mining sector. Now, the Bank of Ghana also bought gold from small-scale miners also, and the large scale, to shore up our cities in terms of the reserves, which supports our local economy. The linkages of the industry also can never be overemphasized. So we'll continue to work hard and help in developing our mother Ghana and reducing the menace of illegal mining through collaborative efforts. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Godwin Iyama, the General Secretary for the National Small Scale Miners Association. I think, indeed, this is a very loud joint civil action, and I'm very happy that they were here to lend support to this. And I think he brought some clarification to the issues. So for the media who are not very clear on some of the issues of legality and what is really happening, I think that helps also clear the space on that. I think it's time, and I have the singular honor to invite the president of GJA, Albert Dumfo, to come and give us the unifying message from the joint civil action against Galamsey. Please, let's welcome him.
Good afternoon. Please, are we here? Good afternoon once again. The convener, Mr. Ken Ashibe, Professor Amin Alhassan, Director General of the State Broadcaster, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, reps from the Catholic Bishop Conference, rep from the Christian Council, the Executive Secretary of Kiba and Prepac, Senior Kentiman, the National Executive of the Ghana Journalists Association present here, reps from the civil society organization, and all other bodies represented here this afternoon, rep from the office of the Chief Imam and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, joint civil action against Galamsey, emergency response for poisoned rivers urgently needed. 2 weeks ago, a young couple, Evans Dogbe and Kate Agboga, suffered the unimaginable outbreak of losing their 2 precious children, innocent lives, cut short by falling into deadly Galamsey pit. In that same devastating time, the Ghana Water Company Limited sounded a desperate alarm. And I read, pollution from illegal mining has forced them to shut down critical water treatment facilities. Communities living near the Densu River, a crucial source of water lifeline for Accra and flowing from the eastern region, are crying out about illegal miners destroying the Densu. At the same time, the authorities permit and fail to act swiftly in the face of this injustice after several reports. Along the Ankobra, Brim, Pra, and Tano rivers, what was once clear and life-sustaining is now highly polluted, exposing households who have no choice but to drink from these polluted, contaminated waters to severe health risk now and in the future. In the Itiwa forest, illegal miners are brazenly tearing apart this natural treasure, destroying not only our environment, but also the hopes of future generations. Broad daylight robbery without fear or consequences. Drive from Accra to Kumasi, and you witness the heartbreaking destruction of Osino Township, a once thriving community now reduced to a shadow of its former self. Just 2 weeks ago, these miners invaded Konongo, another town falling prey to this relentless devastation. Bear in mind, this is the town where a pregnant woman just attending nature's call in 2023 lost her life. And another man in 2024 also died in another Galamsey pit. The less said about the development in Asenkrigwa, the better. Critical roads and transport infrastructure at Enyim, Enchi, and parts of the western region are under threat of collapse. About a week ago, we heard of the reported incident of how harmed illegal miners chased away an enforcement team of 30. Illegal miners chased away enforcement team. Our men and women in uniform, well armed, ran away for their life, brazenly undermining the security of this country. As we speak, cocoa.
Hello there, I am Emefa Apau, your host of The Probe, here on the Joy News channel. Your Sunday evenings are never the same. I get to give you company in terms of critical analysis of all the topical issues that concerns you and speak to all the people that matter. When the newsmakers want to speak, they speak on The Probe.
The IGP's distraction is no benefit to the committee, but we won't sit down for the IGP to be disgraced and insulted without giving him a hearing.
You can't miss it, because when it comes to audience participation, you are topmost priority. Start your week right on The Probe.
Cut out the noise,
the anger,
the hostile opinion,
the spin around the issues,
the superficial colors and effects
are being destroyed and degraded with reckless abandon, or in the name of gold mining, or, as the government says, or in the name of making Ghana the mining hub of Africa. In the mining communities, law and order are crumbling under the weight of impunity, with associated human rights abuses, adverse and forced possession of individual lands and farms, and breakdown of good governance by both traditional and political leadership. In all this, it is regrettable that the government's response remains distressingly indifferent, allowing this national catastrophe to continue. The question we ask is, how many more Ghanaians must die from the deadly pit? How many more must die from Galamsey associated armed conflict, human rights abuses, and livelihood deprivation? How many more Ghanaians must continue to die today from the polluted and poisoned rivers before we say enough is enough? Today, the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, the Forum, the Trades Union Congress, the Ghana Federation of Labour, CASA Initiative Ghana, the Ghana Catholic Bishops Conference, the Christian Council of Ghana, the Office of the Chief Imam, BRACE, Eco-Conscious Ghana, the One Ghana Movement, the CSO's Platform and SDGs, the Peasant Farmer Association of Ghana, and other CSOs are saying enough is enough. Enough of the government's indifference to fight against Galamsey, the rape of our forest and river bodies, and its focus on re-election. And I take that side again. Enough of the government's indifference to the fight against Galamsey, the rape of our forest and river bodies, and its focus on re-election. Enough of the disregard for Ghanaian lives lost to Galamsey associated fatalities, poisoning conflict, and human rights abuses. The poisoning of rivers and streams and the destruction of our forests through the government tacit and active policies have reached crisis proportions and demand urgent and unwavering actions to restore confidence in leadership and uphold the rule of law in the country. We are therefore calling on the executive, elected officers of the state, and all appointed public servants who are cared for and protected by the thousands of citizens and friends at home and abroad to prioritize the social and environmental welfare of every Ghanaian by urgently finding immediate solutions to the national crisis concerning ecocide, the poisoning of rivers, and the destruction of our forest reserves. Our demands. We make the following demands. The President must declare a state of emergency over our water bodies and get the military to clear everyone found on the water bodies, i.e. mining on the water bodies is illegal, and as we all know. 2, all planned and active mining concessions overlapping with river buffers should be abrogated, and all mining activities within 100 meters buffer of all rivers and streams should be halted immediately by the President. failure of which the president must implement the full force of Act 995 without fear or favor of political color and status in the society. 3, almost all water bodies take their sources from the forest reserves, so all entry permits given to mine in protected globally significant biodiversity areas, GSBAs, must also be abrogated. 4, repeal LI 2462 immediately. 5, all the presidential candidates of the political parties vying for elections should publicly declare their total support for this crisis response. Failure to do so, it means you don't have the nation at heart and you cannot lead. This is a challenge to them, and we ensure that they do so. These demands will be reviewed in a fortnight, i.e. 2 weeks, to see what actions have been taken, and our next line of action will be communicated to the media. Ghanaians across this country deserve far more than what we are witnessing today. Every single day that the president fails to protect our human and constitutional right to clean, safe drinking water and a healthy environment, which is swore an oath to uphold, he fails in his duty to every one of us. All our leaders who swore an oath to uphold their fiduciary responsibility to safeguard our natural heritage and tackle the Galamsey crisis have also tragically let us down. And I stress on that. It is not only the battle for the president, but all our leaders who swore an oath to uphold their fiduciary, this is their constitutional mandate, is the obligation, uphold their fiduciary responsibility to safeguard our natural heritage and tackle the Galamsey crisis have also tragically let us down. Now, we are once again, and as we conclude, challenging the president to prove us that addressing Galamsey with the urgency it deserves now as a national crisis is of utmost priority over winning the next elections. Mr. President, the coalition want to remind you, if you have forgotten, we are reminding you that you have about 4 months to redeem your presidency, which you stated you were prepared to put on the line to tackle Galamsey. The very situation we find ourselves calls for an urgent or emergency response to halt this menace. And as we all know, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, has nothing to lose if you take drastic decision to end this crisis now. And I take that once again, that the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, has nothing to lose if he takes drastic decision to end this destruction of our water bodies, as his picture will not be on any ballot again. Mr. President, we urge you, and we are behind you. Whatever decision you take to safeguard our environment and water bodies, you have our full support of the media coalition and from all civil society organizations, and even the country as a whole. We will support any action you take to safeguard and protect our water bodies. If we do not act by the end of September, as I've already indicated, we commit to full civil solidarity in support of actions proposed by UTAG and other trade and labor unions in Ghana. Enough is enough. The time has come for the state to prioritize our welfare and lives. Stop the poisoning of our rivers. Halt the destruction of our forest. Citizens' lives matter too. Act now. Thank you.
Let's do it again. Let's do a big applause for the President's Ambassador for GJA. I think the message is very clear. I am not going to add anything to it. What we are going to hear will be your questions and any clarifications that you might need. But I think before we take the questions, let me invite Che to come and tell us about what we are seeing right here. Just in case you are thinking it's Hausa Koko, it is not.
I just have 1 minute. I know that those of us at the back, we have not seen this. These are samples that were taken just this weekend. We had to go around and take this sample. And this is from the Pra River. And a lot of communities are drinking this water. At the time we were taking these samples, there were children who were happily swimming in this water, not knowing what it is. Now, previous speakers have spoken about turbidity. What it means is that the level of suspended particles in this water. It is not only the color that makes it polluted, but it's a concoction of chemicals, mercury and others. And in these rivers, the fishermen fishing can no more catch fish because all the fish are gone. So that is very, very important for us to take note. Maybe you may not be living around the Pra or around the Cobra, but can you guess where this one is coming from? It's coming from along the brim, which is feeding our Wager Dam, which is the source for us here in Accra. So the water company will tell you they are not treating chemicals. All they are doing is sedimentation to get the particles to settle. So if it is clear, it doesn't mean it is clean. The water you are drinking, if it is clear, it doesn't mean it is clean. So for those of you who are asking questions that what is our agenda? Our agenda is for all of us sitting here. Our agenda is for you, the journalist, who opens your tap. If you are even depending on groundwater, you are not safe because they are also polluted. And most of our sachet water and others are depending on the groundwater. So you sitting down there, you are not safe. This is your fight. This affects you. Anytime you open your tap, remember and ask yourself, is this water clear? And join the campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, Che. Thank you, Che, for that. Yeah, so the floor is open for any questions and clarifications. So members of the panel, I'm sure, are ready to also take note of the questions that will be coming. Let me see if there are any questions for us. Any questions? If you have any questions, please feel free. Any questions? Is that an indication that you are very clear with every point that has been made today? Yes? You have a question? There's a question here, please. Please, there's a question here.
My name is Charles.
Charles.
Yeah. Okay, Charles. Yeah. My submission is that I'm a crusader. I'm a crusader. Yeah.
Okay, he's a crusader.
Well, please, Charles. Okay, thank you. My submission is that onto our churches are made to stop irresponsible way of taking money from the people. There's no way we are going to win this war because they are equally blamable in what is going on. Again, until we call for a list to be submitted so that we can do contact tracing to bring those people into book. There's no way we can win this war. But if we want to assemble here next time to lament again, then let's close our eyes on the people who have perpetrated this on us. We should call for a list of them so that we sanction them. We take them into prosecution. Besides, we have commanders and district chief executives, other governmental agencies all over. We have assemblymen, we have the unit committee members. They are all equal, blamable. So we should follow all of them and sanction each one of them. Irresponsible ones, those who are making irresponsible pronouncements. We should chase all of them. Please, I'm serious.
Thank you very much. So I think that is some solidarity messages there as well, telling us what we need to do. Do you have any questions? Senor. Welcome, sir.
By rough tactics. It's a very, very sorry story, and I want to commend the last speaker for really bringing this properly home. This country needs leadership it doesn't have. Our politicians think about the next election, but we need leaders who think about the next generation. What I see today is hope. I see people who are here to put down their commitment, their quota towards transforming our country. I think we need to give everybody here a round of applause. There are many people doing social media, which is important. There are many people sitting in their homes and their offices. Ghana's middle class is our biggest disappointment. We sit in our rooms and we talk and talk. When we are out, everybody is hiding. Where are they? Exactly. What we got to know here is that we will not get the Ghana we want if we want to fight for it. Our politicians will join all these people doing all these crazy things, these dishonorable things, and loot our state. Their children are abroad. They will make their money enough to buy, they buy these days Voss. I go to politicians, I go to their houses, and I see expensive pure water, imported pure water, Voss. Who is thinking for you? If we do not fight for Ghana, nobody will fight for Ghana. So if you call yourself a Ghanaian, this is a fight to lay down your life for. So within these 2 weeks, Mr. President, it's not going to be talk again. No. The English is too much. We are going to hit the streets. We are going to put 1 million boots on that ground and let everybody know that Ghana does not belong to a very small few who we grace with power only for them to abuse us and destroy the lives of ourselves, our children, and our children's children. Where is the future for Ghana? Please, that docileness of Ghanaians must end. It must stop. It must totally stop. The political class will continue to take advantage of us unless they see that we can stand up and we are not the timid people they think we are. We spend time to queue to vote for them, and they don't think that we can stand up for our own rights and stand up for the future of our own children. We will show them within the period, if they do not act, that they are our servants. They are public servants. If they don't understand that, they should go and read English dictionaries. They are here to serve us, not to abuse us, not to destroy our future, not even not to deprive us of basic needs like water every day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to fight for Ghana. If you are with me, say, fight for Ghana.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Senor. Well, I think we'll be bringing this to a close very soon, but we can't leave here without hearing from organized labor. We have Kenneth Kumsen here to deliver a message from organized labor. Please, let's give him a round of applause as he takes the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As said, my name is Kenneth Kumsen, the Deputy Secretary General of the Ghana Federation of Labour, also representing the organized labor groups, Forum, the Ghana TUC, and the GFL. I must swiftly apologize for coming in late, and this is the reason why we are here late. We also had an emergency conference this morning, and the press conference obviously was your call for this conference became very instructive. And so it is the same thing that we are all doing at the same time. We needed to make sure that we get all the organized labor groups to align with the issues and take a common decision going forward. Organized labor, having considered the fact that we have about 200,000 here, the perpetrators of this, what we call genocidal activity, illegal mining, Galamsey, constitute about 200,000, which is about 0.67% of the total 30 million population. So you can imagine how small that number is and the kind of devastation they are causing to all of us. Again, we're also told that already about 2.5 million hectares of our forest reserves already decimated. Now, that 2.5 million hectares, if you convert it, is about 25,000 square kilometers. That is about the size of Rwanda. So you are looking at a crisis situation where a whole country can just disappear because of some few greedy bastards. So we have taken a decision. And let me read just a portion of what organized labor has resolved. Recognizing all the issues, the turbidity levels, and we're also told that the acceptable range, as mentioned by what you call it, the Ghana Water Corporation, of the level of, if you like, pollution or disturbance within the water body is within 2,000, now escalated to 14,000, which is about 600% increase. This is very alarming. Having considered all of this, organized labor today decided that one, an immediate declaration of state of emergency in line with the provisions of the 1992 Constitution, Article 31, the declaration must incorporate the following. A, an order to halt all forms of mining, legal or illegal, in forest reserves and around water bodies. Immediate evacuation of all mining equipment in forest reserves and around water bodies. C, the deployment of police and military with full orders to remove, destroy all mining equipment, earth-moving equipment around river bodies and in the forest reserve. 2, the immediate revocation of LI 2462 and the withdrawal of all licenses that have been granted for prospecting in mining in forests and protected reserves and also around water bodies. Establish a special to prosecute the perpetrators of this horrible crime. Now, this is our firm and resolute position, that organized labor would urgently embark on a series of demonstrations and a nationwide strike if government fails to address the concerns raised by end of September 2024. Now, we call on all well-meaning Ghanaians to join organized labor and your good self to ensure that this becomes a thing of the past. My brothers and sisters, this is a call which I believe we have joined quite belatedly, but it's not too late. And we believe strongly that with a very strong, coordinated effort, we shall achieve the objective. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So as you know, we are going to rally behind the trade union and organized labor with regards to the decisions that they take in the coming weeks. Thank you all very much. I know we are all eager to leave here, but we have just been told that the office of the chief imam has a representative here, and he has some few solidarity messages for us. May we invite him to come over? Sadiq?
Yes, assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon to you all. I have to be rushed here because our representative who is supposed to be here, Dr. Marzouk, is engaged in some unexpected meeting, and then I have to be called to come in because the National Chief Imam don't want to be left out in the eyes. And an elderly person in the community, he should add his voice to the fight. He said you have his support and his blessings. And if there is anything else that you need him to do, he's ever ready to do so that we can salvage the country. It's a sad story. I went to Axim recently, sitting by the Ankubra Beach Resort, where the Ankubra... Where the Ankubra is joining the sea. You cannot say it's a beach now because the depth in Ankubra has engulfed the edges of the sea, and it's no more a sea, and the resort is losing. So these are some of the sad stories. You are only hearing of Pra and then Birim, but Ankubra is also affected. So all our rivers is being damaged, and we need to do something. The Chief Imam is ready to support this venture. And I said, anytime you want him to do something else, apart from what is happening here now and what is going to take place in the near future, he will do it, inshallah. Thank you. God help us all.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all very much for your patience. We are just at the end of the program. I want to bring this meeting to a close, but before we do that, we'll have to hear the closing remarks from the convener, the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, Engineer Ken Ashigbe. Please, let's welcome him.
Your Lordship, Bishop John Lewis, my colleagues from civil society, the media, labor, everybody, Ghanaians. This is Ghana's coalition against Galamsey. This is Ghana's coalition against Galamsey. Don't be deceived when they tell you about 1 million or so. Yes, we have small-scale miners that might have numbers. But the people involved in this illegality, I'm not too sure about that number. And so when you have any community, when you go to war, and you poison the water of your enemy, is considered a war crime. Arusha is your place. So when you have a people who poison their own selves, how do you describe those people? If you have leaders who have to act, who refuse to act, and we have voted them into office, and this happens. So now it's a clarion call. There are over 12 messages, statements that have been issued. Today we've heard from the Bishops' Conference. We've heard from the Christian Council. We've heard from all the other stakeholders that are here. Joined. If the sale of SNIT properties was going to affect our pensions, then what happens when you start having children who have the at the side of their head? When you start having turbidity, and again, not the time that turbidity is at 14,000. And don't be deceived. The WHO asks for water to be treated to be between 1 and 5 NTUs. In the sexual human, the design is 500 NTUs. Ghana Water pushes it to 500 NTUs, 2,000 NTUs, 500, 2,000 NTUs. Now it's 14,000 NTUs. And you see what God has done? There's a drought now as well. If we don't act now, we will start licking clay as water. So I think the president ought to hear it. That now we are resolute in our ask. As we've said, we are working in tandem. The media, we're going to be working in tandem with the labor unions. So definitely there are going to be some demonstrations that are going to happen. There's a strike that is going to happen. What we as media were going to do when the strike starts, we're going to black out everything the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, everything environment that they do concerning this. So we pray that the president would act now. The president should act now. He has the power to go into the Constitution in Article 31 and declare a state of emergency. It is not enough for the Speaker of Parliament to come to Parliament and lament like you and I. If he knows those who are involved in it, because that's one of the things we as media, my charge to also you, we need to start carrying out our investigative reportage and start naming them. Start naming them, putting names out there. It's not only name and shame. We're also looking for lawyers. We're looking for lawyers and we'll start taking action. ICC is a place to go. There's a conversation about ecocide. But even if ecocide has not crystallized yet, we can go under poisoning humanity. So yes, we are exploring all those possibilities. We've been talking from 2017 up to today. We've stopped talking. We will now put pressure. And in this state, as media, we are not going to what other people say. We've taken a position. Our position is for Ghana. The Constitution puts sovereignty in our. It's not in the hands of just a few elected people. Well, NDC, the LI 2462 was passed. Where were they? So they themselves, they are culpable. Again, go back and look at the history. In 2016, we had a president, the current president, in Obuasi, talking about the fact that it's a lie that when he comes, he's coming to stop Galamsey. So what does that mean? It means what? Perpetuating it. So you saw 2017 TBT go up. Then when we started the fight, there were elements in the NDC as well. One of them was caught on tape, talking about the fact that the 7th January, when they come, they should go back into the pit. So 2020, they left the war. And they've never gone back to it, Operation Halt, all of that. We've seen a parliamentary candidate say they should beat up soldiers who come. That is a crime. By that time, that person should be prosecuted. But what has happened to it? Nothing. And am I hearing some other vice presidential candidates talking about the fact that they're going to release excavators? What is that? What is that? I'm also hearing some other presidential candidates talk about the fact that when you ban Galamsey, job what is that? We are in a crisis, and so we are going to be asking to meet all the presidential candidates, and we want them to put it open that they support whatever action that we're asking for. They support it. We don't want them to cry and come and tell us, oh, they are not fighting Galamsey. Then they will go into some of those places and do that. So please, all of us who are here, it's because you are committed, not to your future. Forget about your future. It's about your today. It's about your now. The fact that you are being poisoned. It's about the genocide that is continuing. It's about fighting that. Then we'll start thinking about the future. So we all need to act. Don't just be sitting in your confines of your small rooms. We all need to start doing something. That's why I'm in red. Because I'm mourning. I am mourning, unfortunately, our stupidity as Ghanaians. The fact that we've allowed our leaders to do this. That has to stop. And it has to stop from today. Now we've had union, everybody spoke. And so if the president is not acting, then our action that will take place as the president of GJA and then Labour also has said, UTAG has said, by the end of the month, it will take place so that we will then make the state, we will take the advice that His Excellency the President gave us. We will not be spectators. We will be citizens. And we will hold him accountable. He is the president till the 7th of January, and he needs to act. It is not going to be sufficient enough for him just to be talking. He should take a leave from the likes of Otumfo and make sure that those who are culpable, they should be dealt with. What is happening to Akonta Mines? How come the directors of Akonta Mining are still walking around when the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources have pointed them out as being involved in an illegality? They are on tape as mining close to the buffer of the tunnel. And that's an illegality. How are they there? Bosumio Frehon, former DCE, he was caught on tape confessing to an illegality. He was allowed to go and bury his wife. And when he came back, all we said was that he's been dismissed. Going to the Minerals and Mining Act, there is no punishment like dismissing you. Heritage Imperial, large-scale miners, They were given a prospecting license. They've gone into the forest reserve, Pamprama Forest Reserve, and they had the guts when they were suing Erastus to go and say in court that they are mining operation. They don't have a mining operation because the EPA to tell us that they don't have a permit to mine. That is an illegality. I mentioned it to Meku Duka on the TV program. Nothing has been done about it. So there are several examples of people who are close to power, who are influential, who nothing are being dealt with. The president himself, in Koforidua, there was a meeting that I was chairperson and he was guest of honor. I asked him what he was doing at Akonta mining. He told me there that Akonta mining was not involved in illegal mining as we speak. That cannot be the answer. And so please, that time is gone. And we are asking the president to act now. We are asking all the political parties to support the particular fight and support all of us, Ghana. God bless our homeland and make us great and strong. Thank you very much. So this brings us to the end of the press conference for today. We want to appreciate you so much. Please carry the message far and wide. As we started with the prayer, we want to ask also Bishop John Lewis, kindly do us the honor by praying for us, please.
Shall we please? We pray in God's name, in the name of the Father, the Son.
Every day, people have money emergencies. Ma, I need my school fees emergency. Mommy, chop money emergency. Emergency.